Good morning. I hope y'all are having a great week. Weather is beautiful. It's just a wonderful time. You ever had a nickname? Maybe when you were little, your parents gave you a nickname. Like maybe your name was Robert and everybody called you Bob or Rob or something off of that. Maybe some of the kids at school gave you a nickname growing up. When I was in the first or second grade, one of my friends called me Turkey Turner one day. And that stuck. Pretty soon all my friends were calling me Turkey Turner. And that stuck with me for a few years. It didn't bother me. Thought it was pretty cool. Knew who I was at any rate. Well, when I was in high school, I had a good friend. His name was Neil Colsey. Neil was our first baseman. I pitched and played the outfield some, but Neil was a great athlete. Lettered in all three sports. Went on to play college football for Ohio State. Played in the NFL as a starting safety for the Oakland Raiders. Yeah, I said Oakland Raiders, and the Miami Dolphins. Had a real good career in the NFL. But Neil was also a good actor. And we had done something several times, but we were playing a game and this guy hit a shot, line drive, out between the third baseman and the shortstop. Well, I was playing left field and I came running in to take the ball, and as I always do, I kind of glanced at the runner, and this guy was dogging it to first base. So I scooped the ball up, had my momentum going that way, and I let the ball fly out of first base. I had a great arm. It was a rope all the way to first base. Neil just stood there like nothing was happening. I think he even said something to the coach over there, and then at the last second, he threw his glove up, caught the ball. Guy was out at first base, thrown him out from left field. Coming in, that was the last out of the inning. As I was coming in across the thing, Neil met me at the pitcher's mound. Still had the ball in his hand, kind of flipped it over onto the mound for the next team, and he looked at me and he said, Fireball Turner. Well, you know, that name stuck. Stuck for years, all through high school and several years after high school. Somebody that played baseball would refer to me as Fireball Turner. Nicknames stick with us. You know, the Apostle John, the writer of the Gospel of John, gave himself a nickname, or referred to himself in a rather peculiar way, I guess. 5 or 6 times in the Gospel of John, John refers to himself as the disciple whom Jesus loved. None of the other Gospels refer to him that way, but John refers to himself as the disciple that Jesus loved. John writes a lot about love, and I want to read this morning from the book of 1 John. And I want to start with a couple verses in chapter 2 that made me start to ask myself a question. John says in chapter 2, verse 24, "See that what you have heard from the beginning remains in you. If it does, you also will remain in the Son and in the Father. And this is what he promised us, eternal life." I read that and I thought, well, what is it that we have heard from the beginning? And I take the beginning as Genesis. It's important because John says if we hold to that we will remain in the Son and in the Father, and then we'll have eternal life. So I started thinking that, and as I read on in chapter 3, beginning in verse 11, John says, "This is the message you've heard from the beginning." Do you get that? This is the message you heard from the beginning. We should love one another. The book of 1 John has a lot about loving one another. If you remember, Paul wrote, all the law holds on to we should love our neighbor as ourselves. Jesus in the 2 great commandments said, love the Lord your God with all your heart and to love your neighbor as yourself. John tells us to hold on to the message that we've heard from the beginning. And this is the message throughout the entire Bible, that we should love one another. Be safe. Stay well out there.